Good day all, welcome back to South Africa, and this is South African Prepper. So today I want to talk to you about blackouts and the way we South Africans deal with blackouts. So from a South African's perspective, we've been dealing with blackouts for nearly 15 years now, 15 years, and it actually teaches you to make the most simplest plans to be able to function normally when the power goes out. Now, in South Africa, for the last 15 years, we've had blackouts, anything from 2 hours per day to 10 hours a day. There was instances where substations blew up, where we had 20 hours, 24 hours without power. So it teaches you how to deal with the blackouts in a way that's cost effective, because a lot of the times people come up with fancy ideas of how to deal with blackouts, but we found that the simplest things work the best. So I want to share with you what we do in South Africa in our personal home, our personal experience. And I want to start off with how we use lights and what we use for light during a blackout. So during the night when the power goes off, we tend to go for the good old candle. Now, a lot of South Africans will tell you that they do have a generator, either a petrol or a diesel generator, which is a good thing to have. But us as a family, we prefer using the generators for other things. So candles is our go-to way of lighting the home. And it's a simple reason. It's extremely cost effective. It's really cheap. Once the candle gets to a very small stage, we then gather all of the smaller pieces up, and we remelt them and we make new candles again. So, and we've learned how to make candles from animal fat as well. So we include normal candles with animal fat. We put in a wick and we make our own candles. And then a second lightning or light method we use is torches. Now, I mainly use torches, tactical torches, smaller ones and then bigger ones as well. Anything from 100 candle power to 1,000,000 candle power. And we mainly use this for when we go outside for security purposes, when you need a strong beam of light to be able to see what's going on. So inside of our house, we use candles, and outside for security purposes, we then use tactical little torches and bigger torches. And then the third way we light the home is by gas. So a gas bottle. On top of the gas bottle, you've got this gas light. And that works extremely well, because a 9 kg gas bottle with that light on top will last you a couple of months, even if you use it every single day. So we tend to stick with the basic stuff. Now people will say, well, why don't you go solar? We've personally got an issue with solar because solar is not very effective. Like the last 3 days, we've had no sun in South Africa. And South Africa is an extremely sunny country. I mean, you can look at my tan. South Africa is an extremely sunny country. I feel for the northern hemisphere, because you've got even less sun in the winter. So your solar will be even less effective. Let's get then to the second part, is cooking. We in general, as a rule, cook on gas as well. Gas works for us. We even boil our kettle for coffee and tea on gas. And then we use the all elusive barbecue, or in South Africa we call it a braai. It's literally a fireplace where you can burn either wood or coal, and you can cook various foods on this braai or barbecue. In South Africa, this is actually a fun thing to do with your friends over weekends, is to have a braai or a barbecue. So we South Africans are quite used to actually making food on a coal fire or a wood burning fire. And then the third way we cook, especially if we go out camping and in a very dire situation, we've got the old rocket stove. We've got 2 of them. They work extremely well. Rocket stoves are not very well known. Very simple, normally built out of a whole lot of tubes, steel tubes. Very low on fuel. In this case, small pieces of wood. So that's what we use for cooking. So as you can see, extremely basic. There's nothing wow about us surviving the blackouts. And then coming to the third thing, which is extremely important, is to always have a little bit of extra money on hand. Now I know the world is in financial turmoil, but what we've seen with the blackouts is that as soon as the power goes out, certain things just stops working. If you go in South Africa past 4 hours, your cell phones, your internet connections, they tend to either go away or they just totally slow down to such a point that you can't really do anything. So we've learned that having a little bit of extra cash, because when you go to your local store, whether it is for diesel or petrol or maybe bread and milk, the basics, daily stuff, and the power has been off for quite a while, you tend to battle to swipe your card. It's like the banks are not communicating because the power is off. So having cash for us is quite important. It does help you with actually being able to buy that necessary bread and milk for the day. So that is how we deal with the electricity crisis in South Africa for the last 15 years, sorry. And then the last thing, which is quite important, is refrigeration. If you're a prepper, you probably have a fridge and a freezer full of meat like we do. And this is where we use the petrol or the diesel generator. So if we see that the power has been off for 5 or 6 hours plus, then we implement by starting the petrol or diesel generator just to get the freezer or the fridge to actually freeze up again, so we don't lose the food that we've stored away until the power then comes back on. So as you can see, we actually don't operate so much on solar. What we do use solar for is recharging of our batteries. So things like radios, we use two-way radios for security where we stay. So that's quite important for us. And you can also, we've got a small battery pack. You can also charge your cell phones, and you can have very basic lighting. But we basically use solar and a battery primarily for powering other batteries like cell phones, and then radio communication, which is extremely important for us. So as you can see, nothing fancy, no gadgets needed to actually survive 15 years of blackouts. This is South Africa Prepper. Guys, have a Merry Christmas. Be safe and keep on prepping.